Hello.
Hi guys.
Hello, hello.
Do you speak French?
Un peu, un petit peu.
Un petit peu. We're gonna do the interview in English. So
Oh, yeah, that's better.
yeah, it's better.
Oh,
So nice to meet you guys, and thanks for your time. So happy to have you as a special guest for today.
thanks.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about your new album, madworld. This album marks a significant return for your band because you haven't released anything since 9 years. So are you happy with the feedback it got from the fans and everything?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it has been quite a long time, as you mentioned, almost a decade. But the feedback and the results are really amazing. In Austria, actually, we hit rank number 4 in the album charts. So it was quite surprising and really overwhelming. But we're, of course, very grateful for the patience that our fans showed with us. And yeah, we're really glad that it's finally out.
How did the break impact the band's approach to music and this album in particular? As also you have 2 new members, Julia and Joy. So
Yeah, we are, of course, very happy and very lucky, actually, to have them on board, especially with Julia in the studio. It was really amazing to work with. She has just an amazing voice, covers a huge range, and this also gave us, in return, the opportunity in songwriting to go further and deeper than ever before. And what mainly changed in songwriting is that I think my approach in this case was influenced a lot by electronic music. I started songwriting during Corona times already, like 2.5 years ago. And in that time, I listened a lot to electronic music and also some hip hop stuff and pop stuff. And those kind of influences you can now witness and hear on madworld. So yeah, I guess there has been quite some changes when it comes to our music and our style. But at the same time, we still, of course, use the same elements that we also used before, with a lot of percussions, and we're still that colorful and rich in variety as we were before.
And crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, can you explain more how was the writing process of this album, with your electronic influence and stuff, and with the new members? So
I mainly started out with bass synths during the writings, which of course came from the influence from electronic music and stuff. And I worked a lot with synths and sound programming. And yeah, I drafted the first ideas during Corona times, and then created the first templates and presented them to the guys, and then we worked together on it, and went to the studio for some test recordings, and then additionally with vocals, and then some lyrics, and yeah, it's just a standard process in the end, and yeah, it turned out really nice.
yeah, and how is your recording process? I mean, do you think as a live band, or do you record the instruments one by one?
Yeah, it's definitely necessary to think of the live situations. Actually, we always have been a live band, and we are just born for stage, if you will. And so during writing, I always have in the back of my mind, does it also work out on stage, especially on festivals? And it needs to be, it needs to work to make the crowd move, the crowd jump, and that's always definitely a part of songwriting.
This album is a blend of various musical styles, as you said, from industrial metal, pop elements, electro sounds. I mean, what are your influences in terms of, electro?
For example, during the songwriting process, I listened a lot to Stromae, Belgian kind of dance, electro poppy artist.
Yeah.
Who I really like, especially his videos are just awesome. But also other stuff like Imagine Dragons, for example, or Rag and Bone Man. And so I listened a lot to stuff that is not necessarily connected to rock or metal at all, So I my influences came from completely different genres in this case, and that's noticeable and hearable on madworld now.
Yeah, so I think one of the highlights of this album is like rock to outer space. Can you talk about the story or the inspirations behind this song?
Yeah, actually, that's also one of my favorites on this album. The idea, I think it generated roughly at the end. It's one of the last tracks actually that came to my mind, and I did not really find a solution for the chorus especially. And then Mike took over, let's say. So it's kind of a co-creation of Mike and me. Mike is our guitarist. And I would say the share on this song is like 50-50. And actually he let's say he kind of put it upside down. And it's from the mood that the song provides now turned completely different than the idea had in my head, in my mind. So it was an interesting result in the end.
How did Julia take part in the writing of this album?
Actually, I took part already during the recording process in studio because I'm like, I think personally I'm more performer than creator in this case. So I was really happy to have already some drafts, some ideas from guys like instrumentally, melodically, some lyrics. It wasn't yet complete song, but it's something which I could definitely work already with. And then I adapted my vocal parts to my voice, to maybe I changed a lot actually in when I'm singing in that part. I changed a lot during recording because then I created the ideas and I asked guys what they think about it. So if everyone likes it, if it's really cool. So yeah, so everyone could be happy with it. So for example, in the end, in the song "The End," the chorus which I'm performing, it was my idea to make this vocal line and melody, and guys loved it. So it's one of the examples. So yeah, I was more working on the studio during studio already.
And what's your personal favorite song of this album?
Yeah, as I always saying that for listening the album, my favorite is Pulling. But for performing live, I really prefer I Can't Control It.
I've been reading a lot of reviews about madworld, and I think there have been mixed reviews, with some highlighting its catchy hooks and other noting a lack of Bond's trademark, How do you respond to this feedback?
Well, with this era, with this album, we kind of opened a new era. We had a change in lineup with Julia and Joey, and the songwriting process, of course, changed. The style changed a little, but that was intentional. We wanted to work with new influences. We wanted to push the borders even further. We wanted to push out the limits further. Actually, there are no limits. We don't like it to be, put in a box, put some stamp on it, and then say, yeah, this is Kontrust. So that's also why it's very hard to define our style, to put us into some box and say this is that genre which Kontrust belongs to, because we're always experimenting with new influences, new ideas, and we always will be colorful and surprise people over and over again.
And your music uniquely blends English, German, Slavic languages. How do you think this multilingual approach affects your creative process and the reception of your music internationally?
Yeah, the feedback that we get actually speaks for itself, especially also, which you did not mention now, is Spanish, for example.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of Spanish elements, especially Stefan, our male singer, is playing around with. And the result of it is that we have a huge fan base in Mexico and Southern and Latin America, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, whatever. We get a lot of requests to finally come there for touring. So I think it's received very well from the audience, and again, it's another one part that we will keep on doing, keep on pushing, and not limiting ourselves to just one language, for example.
And with madworld being self-produced and showcasing a different sound and a new era, as you said, what direction do you see Kontrust heading in for the future?
Yeah, for now we implemented a lot of electronic elements. We worked a lot with synths and sound programmings. As I said, I always started out the songwriting process with bass synths. So that's just one of the examples that, let's say, changed our genre a little bit, or our style a little bit. Well, we still, of course, keep the style elements that we also used before. So this can only go into one direction, which is further and deeper and more crazy and more colorful. So
world domination.
I hope so. Could be great.
Thanks.
You know, when you first started as a band, you have won Austrian Newcomer Award in 2006. And you have won a Amadeus Austrian Music Award. How did this recognition impact your career and confidence as a band?
Prizes like that and nominations like that. Actually, for the Amadeus, we've also been nominated for the following two records. So that's always a nice, let's say, nice recognition. It's of course honorable and a very nice surprise also, and definitely a moment for celebrations, and in the end it's a nice memory, you know. But those prizes and awards alone, they are just, you know, once in a lifetime. It happens for a blink of an eye, and then it's gone again. And of course behind the scenes there's going on so much more, and everything that's involved with creating music, all the work that we do behind the scenes is maybe not really reflected in those awards alone.
You are known for wearing lederhosen during performances on stage. How did this become a trademark for the band, and what does it symbolize for you?
As you said, it has become kind of our trademark. It all started with our video on Bomba, which we released in 2009, if I remember correctly. So quite a while ago. And since then, of course, we are recognized by the Lederhosen. And for us, it's kind of a two-edged sword, because on the one hand, of course, we love them, and we love that people recognize us by the Lederhosen, and it's our trademark. On the other hand, just imagine playing a summer festival when it has like 45 degrees outside, and you need to perform live on stage in the lederhosen. It's quite messy, wet, and hot and ugly.
Do you have like a routine or rituals before going on stage?
Usually just, you know, high
Not
five.
getting drunk.
No, usually just high five each other and maybe warm up a little, but nothing special. Then go on stage, drink some water, you know, stay hydrated, because it will be hot and sweaty.
How do you handle periods of doubt or creative blocks, if you have?
I'm not sure if a lack of creativity is a problem, actually, because usually when ideas come to your mind, you just make notes of them or record them real quick on the mobile phone, and just make some voice recording to yourself, so that you can use those ideas then in the future. And that's how you collect those ideas, and then try to work them out either in the studio or on the computer or with an instrument or whatever. To me, this always just comes naturally, because the inspirations and the influences that you get, they don't even necessarily have to come from music or from other artists or something. It can be everyday situations. You hear some noise and you think, or some beat, for whatever it might be, maybe from a train, for example, and something pops into your mind and you create something out of it. So just flows naturally. You don't need to force it.
Ahead of music, what are your main influences in terms of art? Like maybe some readings or maybe some.
Yeah, as I said, inspiration comes from every kind of art, or even it does not have to be connected to arts at all. For me, for example, I sometimes just drew ideas from watching some movie or some series. You have some soundtrack in the background, and then you suddenly say, okay, this would be probably a nice verse or a nice chorus or whatever, and then you try to work it out. So don't force yourself. It's a natural flow.
What's your view of the music industry today, and how do you think it will evolve in the future?
Well, especially after Corona, it has been quite a huge impact on the music industry. It made actually huge waves, especially in the live industry, because it's not only bands suffering, but also organizers and promoters of festivals and clubs. They all had and still have a very hard and tough times. So this kind of changed and shifted a little bit. There was a lot going on in the industry, and many players are not there anymore. They went bankrupt or just out of business. So yeah, this had quite some impact, and we still feel it. We can just hope that it becomes better again. And for the digital scene is hugely impacted at the moment by streaming and also YouTube video streaming, but of course mainly by Spotify and stuff. So bands and artists are urged to produce en masse as fast and as much as possible. Yeah, this in the end, you can only do what you can, just keep on working, keep on doing, keep on creating, and most importantly, enjoy what you do.
That's a beautiful way to end this interview, by the way. So do you have any suggestion or recommendation? I mean, it could be a book, a podcast, something you've discovered. So we usually ask our guests this question at the end. So if you have any recommendation, feel free to share it.
What I could recommend is a series that I watched lately, which is called Snowfall, if I remember correctly. That's was quite an interesting series. I think it's partially, at least, based on true events that happened in the United States back in the days. And yeah, I could definitely recommend this for others to watch, maybe.
All right, I watch it. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, and maybe see you in France when are you planning
Yeah,
on being in France or something?
yeah, booking is in progress at the moment. I cannot disclose too many details about it yet, but France always is on top of our list, of course, and we're working on it, and we're very much looking forward to come back to France again.
Amazing. So hope to see you in France soon, and have a good day, have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Yeah, à bientôt.